did Lorraine Hansberry's Raisin in the Sun. A few biographical facts about her. She was born on May 19, 1930 in Chicago, Illinois. Daughter of Carl Hansberry and Nanny Hansberry, and the fourth of four children. She attended the University of Wisconsin in Madison from 1948 to 1950, but then left the university and moved to New York, where she attended the New School for Social Research in pursuit of her writing career. While attending the New School, she joined a group called the Daughters of Bilitis, which was a lesbian civil and political rights organization where she contributed letters to their magazine called The Ladder about feminism and homophobia. Hansberry exposed her lesbian identity in the articles, or wrote under the initials LH for fear of discrimination. During her time writing The Ladder, Hansberry wrote The Crystal Stair, a play about a struggling black town in Chicago, which was later renamed A Raisin in the Sun. The play opened at the Ethel Barrymore Theater on Broadway on March 11, 1959, and had great success. Hansberry was the first black playwright and the youngest American to win a New York's Critics Circle Award. She later died of pancreatic cancer on January 12, 1965.
Next, we're going to talk about the setting and the characters. The setting, from a broad standpoint, is the South Side of Chicago in the 1950s, and on a more condensed standpoint, it is in the younger household. It's an old, dilapidated house that's too small for all of them to live in. For the characters, we have the protagonist, Walter Younger. He is optimistic about his dad, about the money that he's getting from his dad's insurance for dying. Next, we have Benitha Younger, Walter's sister. She's college educated, believes in she believes in black heritage and wants to use the money from her father's insurance for med school. Next, we have Lena Younger, Benitha and Walter's mother. She is the matriarch of the family, keeps the family together, and she wants to use the insurance money to buy a bigger house for the whole family to live in. Ruth Younger is Walter's wife. Their marriage has never been very strong. And they have a continuous fight against poverty, living in the small house they do. Travis Younger is Walter and Ruth's son. Joseph Assegai is one of Benitha's lovers. He is very strong in his African heritage and has been in Nigeria and wants to teach her more about their culture. George Murchison is another one of Benitha's lovers, you could call them, and he kind of spoils her. He's from a very rich black family, and unlike Joseph, has learned to assimilate with white culture and isn't as proud of his black heritage. Mr. Lindler is the only white character. He's from Clybourne Park, or from the Clybourne Park Improvement Association. He was hired by the Clybourne Park Improvement Association to keep the Youngers from moving into the all-white neighborhood. Willie Harris is a friend of Walter's. He is one of Walter's counterparts in the liquor store plan. He uses Walter's money and runs away with it after he gives it to him. And Mrs. Johnson is the Youngers' neighbor before they move into Clybourne Park.
Okay, so there are many themes throughout the play, and there are three main ones, and they deal with dreams, and the importance of family, and then money, and colorism, which I've kind of grouped together. So the idea of dreams is that all of these characters have different dreams for themselves. Mama's dream is to own her own house and have a garden, and Benitha's dream is to become a doctor and possibly even move to Nigeria to embrace her heritage. And then you have Walter's dream, which is just to be able to kind of live up to his father's expectations. And then you have Travis, who's probably just full of dreams because he's a little boy right now. And you have Ruth, whose dream is really just to have a loving and caring family. And the thing that's interesting about the whole play and all of these different dreams is that they can all work together, but at the beginning of the play, it seems that all of the characters kind of they kind of oppose each other with their dreams, instead of really working together. And by the end of the play, they all come in together, and as they move to Clybourne Park, they all achieve, or they all get one step closer to achieving their dreams. The importance of family, this again goes back into the importance of dreams, but the family is very separated from each other, and it's very disjointed. There's kind of this like pseudo relationship between Walter and Travis, his son. Walter and Beneatha don't really get along very well. Everyone gets annoyed by Mama. Ruth is not happy with her husband or her living situation for her children, or, well, her child and her upcoming child. She's pregnant. One of the bigger issues of the play is that Walter wants to make sure that he can provide for his family in the same way that Big Walter did. Big Walter really loved his family and was very caring. And Walter's kind of the opposite of that, it seems, because he's just so concerned with the way that he's viewed by other people and his family. And then this just leads into the idea of pride. With pride, with money comes pride. With race can come pride as well. George Murchison is very proud that he is educated and that he is rich and that he could be embraced by white culture if he so wanted. Whereas Walter wants to have pride in the fact that he is black. Beneatha wants to have pride in the fact that she is black, but both of them kind of struggle doing that. It doesn't really happen. They're not really proud of themselves until Walter realizes the importance of family is more important than money. You don't need money to love your family. Beneatha can capture her pride when she falls in love with Assegai and talks to him and starts embracing her culture. She changes her hair and her attire gradually throughout the play. And then just by the end of the play, the family is working as a unit again, and they're about to move into Clybourne Park. Things are going to definitely be hard for them, living in an all-white neighborhood. But the situation is definitely looking up as they work to achieve their dreams. And
Alright, next we have the critical assessment of Lorraine Hansberry's play, Raisin in the Sun. Her plays are often acknowledged for her expressive and compassionate view of people who transcend throughout their lives. The play and film, A Raisin in the Sun, is set in the 1940s and conveys interfamilial and intergenerational ideas. These surface from the different hopes and dreams and desires of the characters, which is something that we touched on when discussing our themes. The story's dialogue is drawn from questions that face racial minority in an environment which are always infiltrating throughout the story. Hansberry provides rich obstacles for her character, most of which are inner obstacles that the characters face. Her characters are mainly three-dimensional, and each character represents something generational. It's a testament to Lorraine Hansberry's writing that the characters don't come off as the spokespersons for her story. The family in her story are living human beings, and many people now can relate to the situations that they go through that are struggles and dreams that they face.
Alright, so some questions that we have for you guys. What does Mama's plant symbolize? And the answer to that question would be, it symbolizes her care for her children, her dream for her family to get a house with a garden. Mama's care for the plant is similar to that for her kids. She's got unconditional love and care for the plant, with that for the kids, while both of them do not have enough room to live and grow properly in a good environment. And one of the major themes of the play that were discussed earlier, it's importance of dreams, importance of family, and money and racial domination.
Our other two questions are, how does money affect the characters throughout the play? And from the start of the play, it's centered around the insurance check and what they will do with it, and ultimately, the fact that they don't have as much money as they would like. They have to live in a small apartment, and it only has one window, and the fact that they live in this small apartment, it affects their moods and and their happiness level and their ambitions to come out of poverty. And ultimately, they are happy at the end because they now have the money to move into the right neighborhood. And our second question is the significance of assimilation. And beneath it is the perfect example of assimilation. At first, she assimilates by straightening her hair, but after being criticized by Asagi, she cuts her hair and wears her natural hair and has an afro to stay true to her heritage and get closer to her heritage. And at the end, her family will eventually have to assimilate as they're